What is up, everybody? It's me, 45. I am joined tonight on Let's Get Sticky with one of my best friends on the streaming platform, Bosh Merchant. We've known each other. I've been streaming for almost 3 years. He's been at it for a while now. We've been around each other for a long time, done a lot of stuff on this platform. So this one's actually really, really, really special to me to be able to get him on here because he's a busy man over in the RP world. And with his schedule, kind of tough. But we're gonna let him give a little bit of a background on himself, on why he got started, and where he's taken himself. Take it away, Bosh.
What's going on, guys? Firstly, thanks for having me, Jimmy. I know you've been delving into the kind of talk show podcasting world. It's great to see you, find a new direction. Something that's bringing you a little bit of success. And as you said, we've known each other. We've been through the ringer together. We've had those late night conversations. We've had those panic talks that every streamer has with their mates about situations and what's going on and the state of our channels and directions of our channels. So thanks again for having me, Jimmy. Apologies first of all for no greens. The lighting is pretty bad in here at the moment. As you can see, a month or two ago I went through a little bit of a schedule change. I used to stream from my bedroom for like a year and a half on Twitch. So obviously I've got a missus and I could only stream at certain times, and it's putting a bit of pressure externally on things. So I moved out to my utility room, as you can see. We're living the dream. We're in the basement, in the dungeon. So people look at streamers and think, oh yeah, this is the streaming dream for me right now. So yeah. Okay, where do I start? Why I got into Twitch? How I got into Twitch? Honestly, I'm a sports guy. I've been a sports player most of my life. So that's taken up most of my time from a very young age. I've been really actively involved in mainly rugby, cricket, football, soccer when I was younger. And that really took up my time. Summer being cricket, winter being rugby. It just so happened that they just it went on a year long kind of calendar because the two seasons kind of go back to back. So literally, I was an outdoors kid, always been an outdoors kid. I gamed, like I loved gaming, don't get me wrong. I had a PlayStation back in the day when it came out, and since I was young, I've always liked games and I've gamed, but sports always been my main love. And I guess I had my kiddo there about 4 years ago, 4.5 years ago, and you get older and you, some people buy a Harley Davidson. I fucking started fucking streaming. Apologies for language. I started streaming, and that's why I started. I got a game called Dark Souls 3 on the Xbox. Wanted to look up some gaming research. I guess people go to YouTube guides. Dark Souls is a particularly challenging game, so I found Twitch. A friend had told me about Twitch before, and I checked it out. And there's a guy called the Happy Hob. I don't know if you've ever heard of him. He's a Dark Souls no hit runner. He's done all the Soulsborne games, Bloodborne, Dark Souls 1 to 3. And I found him. I started watching him. I was immediately. I would have always been. I think you're probably in the same generation as me, Jimmy. We would have always been of that generation where you're like, why would you watch somebody play video games? Before we got into Twitch, it was like, why would you do that if you don't just play the game yourself? Like that's certainly still the attitude a lot of my friends still take with it. And that would have been my attitude to an extent. I would have dismissed it straight away. I'm not getting involved in that. But then I actually actively went onto Twitch to watch this dude. And the thing I was really taken by was how immersive it was. It was watching the guy play games, which is one thing, but like you were so. This guy's my first sub and my first follow on Twitch. He's still my favorite streamer. Sorry, Jimmy. He's still my favorite streamer on Twitch. I was just taken by his personality and how the community aspect of the whole kind of Twitch experience. And after watching him for like a couple of weeks, I was like, you know what? I'm going to do this. I can do this. I can try and do this. I would love to try and do this. and that was kind of the start of my Twitch career. My first ever stream on Twitch, I got one of those Xbox Kinect webcams. You know those things?
Yeah.
It's literally like a 40-minute video of me sitting at the edge of my table in my living room playing Dark Souls with like even worse visuals than this. Like I still probably haven't evolved much in a few years looking at where I am now, but the audio quality was appalling. You couldn't, like, it was pixelated video. And I went live for 40 minutes, and I was the kind of person, I looked at it and I was like, I don't like this. I can't do this. So I waited and I ordered myself a green screen. I got a secondhand PC. I got off some kind of computer science kid in Dublin who'd made a shit PC together for €300. I bought that, got a microphone, got a green screen, and then once I put that all together, box lights, away I went. And yeah, that was the start of my Twitch adventure, if you will.
Well, that sounds eventful. I mean, I've been around a long time with you, so it's kind of good getting to see you actually take off, like find your little niche that you found with RP, and really like just hammering out, like went full tilt. You had to do what you did. You left a lot of the like Discord communities, the things that were big back then, with everybody, oh, we'll support for support and all that crazy nonsense that went on with it. And it does, I don't even know if it exists anymore because I don't even get involved in it no more. But um, to see you find that after going through like PUBG, Call of Duty, Dark Souls, you name it, you played it, and to
Star
see
Wars.
Star Wars for, oh my god, for how long? For how long? Like, my rank is so high from playing Star Wars with you, and that so getting over into RP, moving that direction, what got you there? I mean, I know you like to act and stuff like that, but what really got you into that direction to take off over there?
In short, getting a PC. That was honestly the catalyst to it all. I started off as probably the hardest way you can do it on Twitch, as you'll understand and testify to, being a variety streamer when you start off from zero. It's rough, man.
Right.
It's hard.
Definitely horrible.
Jumping, because essentially what you're doing is you're putting out your personality to every different community. I'd play a game for a week and a half, 2 weeks, I'd finish it, and I'd jump into another game. So essentially what you're doing is you're taking yourself out of a community that you're kind of getting into a little bit. You're taking yourself out of that and you're throwing yourself into a new community. So there's no familiarity, there's no consistency with variety. And it's probably toughest thing to start. Like, especially the time that we started on Twitch, there was a kind of boom in streaming. There's a huge interest in streaming. Thus, you saw all the little mini communities and support for support. There was a huge revolution in streaming. People, Ninja, I think, maybe 6 months into our journey, Fortnite kind of really kicked off, and Ninja got people talking. There's a lot of people looking to stream and become, the next Ninja, so to speak, was the big one for a while for us. And doing variety is just hard. How I found RP, I'm one of those weird ones. I had no idea what No Pixel was before I got into it. No Pixel, for anybody watching who's interested, is essentially, it's the big RP server on Twitch. It deals in GTA 5. Some likes of maybe who Summit, Tim the Tapman, Lyric, Crowd has even tested the water. A lot of people have dipped their toes into the RP world. So you get some of the biggest names in the industry RPing on our server. But I had no idea what it was when I started, and I literally was just told by my community, you should. I'd never played GTA 5, not even on the Xbox. I hadn't played it yet. I still haven't played the story game through. I went straight into RP. I didn't even play the game through when I got my PC. So I got my PC, got Sekiro, played a little bit of Sekiro, got really frustrated at how difficult it was and how many times I was dying on stream. So then I just leapt into RP, and it's pretty much been my game for the last year, and that's where we are.
Yeah, I mean, the PC was definitely huge. I remember countless of times that you just be streaming and the thing would just shut off on you. and I mean, it was a battle what it was gonna do and how long it was gonna stay on. And then both of us have been lucky to meet Irish TV, and he helped us both out along the lines with the PC stuff and putting us in position to do what we do. I mean, which was huge for you. It was a big, 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 big move for you getting that PC. Um, Now, are you looking to do anything else besides the RP stuff now that you've kind of like established yourself, or is that just where you're gonna lie your head and never move?
Honestly, and I think any RPer will tell you, especially having been in the game exclusively for a year, playing any game for a year, regardless of how diverse it is, and how many creative options there are each day you go live, it's still grading. You're still playing the same game every day. There are a lot of days where, like any streamer, you're pretty unmotivated to press the live button because for whatever reasons. And I think having an option of change of games is something that everybody needs. I don't. I In order to really build a solid community on Twitch these days, I think you need to stick to a singular game for a fairly long time. But ultimately, and this is the trade-off. It's self happiness, and this is me being completely transparent. It's self happiness versus security. Ultimately, I'm trying to make Twitch a career. I've got a family, and it's the trade off between happiness on stream versus what's going to pay bills. You know what I mean? And that's the harsh reality a lot of streamers are faced with. And inevitably, the reality is also once you change games from your set RP or whatever game that your community's been based on, once you jump to another game, there's going to be a huge fall off for whatever reason. But people initially get involved in a community for one thing, and people will move on. It's just the nature of the game. So I'd love to play more variety. Um, I'd love it was simple as you can play whatever you want and nothing's going to change. But the realities of things are, if you change from your set game, your whole viewership, your whole everything that goes with the kind of financial side of things changes. So I don't think I'm really at a stage yet where I'm comfortable to do that.
Yeah.
I think we're still building the community within GTA RP, and personally where I'm at, I think jumping from games would probably be detrimental to growth long term. Still, when I say long term, you guys probably look at me and be like, "Well, you've been playing GTA for a year." You look at any of the guys who are really successful on the platform. Fine, they started probably streaming at a different time when there wasn't as many streamers, but most of them have been in the game for a very long time. Now, there are some who've broken through talent, through help, through luck, the combination of different things. But in reality, across the board, the general, consistent factor is time in the game. You got to keep your time in the game. You got to be consistent, and you got to develop a trust between yourself and your audience, your community. And that's not built over a day or two. That takes time. And I'm still on that kind of building stage within GTA RP, if that makes sense.
That makes a ton of sense. I mean, most of us that have been around, we understand that. A lot of new people coming in probably don't understand that yet. Um, Now with you, I think I caught it the other day that you actually got to play with some big boys on RP. I missed the stream, but I think Summit was part of it, and there's a couple other big names in there that you got to actually get in some RP with.
Dude, yeah, that's been the most pinch myself moment on this journey. So I was yeah, it was just a kind of so the nature of the GTA RP community is everybody gets to know each other quite well. A lot of people play outside of games with each other, and just an opportunity arose. One of the guys invited me in, and I was literally in a Discord. 11 of us in a Discord group. Just a voice private server. 11 of us. Summit was there. Shroud was in there. Lord Kevin, the biggest Twitch RPer. And that was a real pinch myself moment, playing GTA Racing in a voice room, chatting away to these guys is like, wow, that's crazy. Shroud, Summit, wow.
That's
Yeah,
got. I mean, that's
that
definitely
was
mind
surreal.
blowing, right? Definitely had
Yeah,
to be mind
just
blowing.
crazy. Yeah, yeah, it didn't really kick in. It doesn't really kick in, but sometimes you have to take a step and say, "Wow, that's incredible." You know what I mean? You think about how many people stream on a monthly basis and how many people watch these guys and aspire to be like these guys, and just the opportunity to play with them for like an hour. Crazy. It mightn't seem like much, but
Oh,
it was
that's
incredible.
huge. I mean, that's an hour getting near those guys is probably some of the toughest things you could probably end up doing in the game of Twitch.
And you know what though? That's the glory of RP. That's the glory of where we play, or where we RP on No Pixel. You cross paths with these guys all the time. You know, it's just it's how you play. It's essentially being in a big game server with all these guys, and you're just acting out scenarios and stuff with them. It's pretty incredible. Like it really is incredible.
And I don't know what I would do. I mean, that's like I was watching. I think I was watching a video the other day. Some kid didn't believe that he was in a game with Tim the Tatman on Warzone, and then he eventually realized it was Tim, and he just starts freaking out. He starts screaming for his girlfriend and everything like that. Like he went from like this grown guy to like this little boy. Is like, oh my god, starts freaking out. I was like, this is fantastic. But I mean, to get to that, I mean, you guys you would have to get to a certain level in that server for them to even invite you in into something like that.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, like I said, everything takes time. You know, uh, a big one, a big one that people don't really see as much. And you've probably seen it as you've grown. I have this kind of that theory. It's like all big celebrities, even people in the movie industry, people in the entertainment industry. And sport. You hear these kind of cliches that like the more you grow, or the longer you're in the game, or even the more success comes your way, the tighter your circle becomes. You know what I mean? The smaller and tighter your circle becomes. So in a way, like the more you grow, it can actually at times be a very isolating for not for everybody. Now everybody's journey is different. I'm just speaking for myself, but I know it's this. I'm not on my own when I say this. It can be a very isolating experience to an extent because your circle closes. You see a lot of things around you. You become aware of a lot of things around you. A lot of potentially selfish behavior around you. Touching on what we said about me, wiping my slate clean for myself
Mhm.
before I started GTA. And your circle gets a little bit tighter and smaller. And it's no coincidence that these guys are friends because they've grown together, they've been successful together, um, and they've been through a certain journey together. It's kind of like it's interesting, like it really is. And I've seen that. I see this a lot across the board on Twitch. You know what I mean? People start off and they try to be friends with everybody. And then I just realized the nature of being a human. um, Twitch is a very selfish platform to an extent, though, as well. Ultimately, everybody's trying to do their best for themselves, and that's a kind of message that's really deceitful when you start off, in my opinion, on Twitch. A lot of people. Put out this front that oh no, I'm there for you, man. I don't care. Let's grow together. I'm there for you. I'll be there for you. And then we know that's not always the reality. So,
Definitely not.
um, everything takes time, man. Relationships take time. You build things over time. Trust takes time. I mean, look at us. We haven't chatted in Discord or something for a while, but
Yeah.
that trust will always be there because we've been through that together. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean that's one thing I'm glad that we still do have. Like, I mean, like I said, you went and did your own thing. I kind of went and did my thing, but we told each other when we did it that we were there no matter what. Like all we had to do is message each other, and that'll never change. You know what I mean? Like there's no way that changes, and I'm glad that it's still there because it's hard to build those relationships. Like you say, it takes a lot of time, a lot of effort. And like I mean, we've spent ridiculous amounts of hours trying to figure this platform out, trying to figure out which way to go, how to do this, how to do that, and we 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 use each other to figure that out. And you came to your realization, hey, I gotta stick to this, and I came to, hey, I gotta stick to Madden and see what happens. Now, Madden killed me this year because it stopped with content for 2 months
It's
early.
because you're a Redskins fan. Let's be real here, buddy. You know,
Hey,
look at the
hey,
cap you're
hey.
wearing, mate.
At least,
Fuck,
hey,
God, come on, buddy.
at least I didn't pay my guy over $100 million to throw a football.
Hey, we got to the playoffs. We got to the playoffs at
And he
least.
chokes, as he does, as Kurt does famously. He gets paid to choke, so I mean, it's all good. I mean, that guy has worked the NFL like no other. Like I've seen. I mean, he took what 42 million from the Redskins and goes over and signs like what what was it, $80,000 contract with the Vikings that I think was completely guaranteed or something like that, and then signs an extension for another chunk of money.
He was the highest paid QB of all time when he signed. Now I think Breeze and someone else got a higher contract, but like
Well, he
crazy money,
got
crazy.
Mahomes just signed a stupid
Yeah,
contract, like 10
but
years,
that's
500.
justified though. Let's be honest there.
I mean, he's done more than Kirk Cousin has.
Oh, Mahomes is legit though as well.
So now with your Twitch going the way it is and everything going, you finally stepped into the partner world. How was that to finally achieve what you worked so hard for with different learning? I mean, you went through so many things with learning to edit, learning to do all this. You literally had no time to do anything else. And that's all you were pushing. And then you worked so hard to get there and you finally achieve it. How was it seeing that email finally break through?
You know what the hardest thing for me on my particular journey was? I was like a year in the game, man. I was like a year in the game, still trying to find myself. Now a year for some people, I'm sure there's people watching going, "What? This guy's only been in a year. I've been doing this for 5 years." Look, I completely understand. I'm just talking about myself being in the game for a year with variety, not really knowing where everything was going. It's you hope, you know what I mean? It's there's a lot of like I said, everybody's situation is different. My particular situation, sorry, can you still hear me? My
Yeah, you're
my
good.
my
You're good.
stream's buffering. Everybody's situation is different, and that's the one thing that I will always say. Every streamer's situation, their external pressures, their family situation, their work situation, what age they are, how much time they can commit. Everybody's, variables are different. So nobody's journey is the same. But for me, it was just a lot of relief, man. I pressed my reset button to my whole, like, what I put a year into. I basically took a year. I pressed reset. Like you touched on, there were a lot of smaller communities, support communities. When I started, I was like a networking worker bee. I was
That you
everywhere.
were.
I was putting my energy everywhere. Giving so much of myself. And eventually it kind of like it just wore down on me, and I was like, you know what, I need to start focusing on me and the people who come into me regularly, my community. That's where the energy's got to go. And
No, as
that's
soon
what
as
I
it's
did.
up.
Are you good?
Something about
Is that a Twitch thing? Are we still live?
I'm up.
Okay.
Okay.
It's saying be right back. I don't know what's going
I don't know if it's a
on.
Twitch thing or not.
Oh, there we are. Yeah. But that was that was for me. The partnership was almost like a second crack at it, a second journey. And there was a lot of stressing, particularly when you're floating around the partnership number. I applied 5 times for the last. They made me wait like 6 weeks, I think, for my partnership exception.
Yeah, it was
And
definitely
for
a
those
long run for that.
6 weeks though, I was averaging a couple hundred viewers, I'd say, and it was a very kind of relieving decision, let's just say, where you can maybe it's just not having to worry about any of that side of things again. It was just a relief. I found it personally. Justification to an extent. But it's funny though, and you'll understand this as well, Jimmy, when you do something and you're ambitious for something, when you achieve something, you don't really have that much time to kind of celebrate it. As happy as you are,
Hmm.
you just see yourself as, this is where I'm meant to be. Where's my next step? You know what I mean? And that was kind of what it was for me. I mean, it was incredible to get partnership. The exclusivity of it it never really sinks in, because you're always thinking, okay, where's my next step? This is my path. Let's go, let's take on the next challenge. And for me particularly, I got partnership, which is meant to be a huge momentum builder, and then there's a lot of stuff that happened with me IRL. I ended up actually taking about 3 or 4 weeks off straight away after getting partnership. So I kind of actually missed that buzz. It was touch and go whether I was going to actually keep streaming after I got partnership. But we did, and we're still here, thankfully. We've worked some things out, and we're still fighting. Um, but yeah, relief, man. Just relief for me. It's funny, you get there and you don't really get to dwell on that sense of achievement. Well, I don't anyway. Like I said, I've always played like a pretty high level sport. I've always been kind of conditioned to, you get something, you don't pat yourself on the back too much. You just look for the next thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What's the next target? What's the next goal? Let's go. And that's kind of the way I've always been wired.
Yeah, I mean, like I know I was damn proud. Like I was like he did it. Like I was like I raved to Brenda and everything. I was like fucking Bosh finally did it. I was so happy for you. Like I was like this man put in as much time as you were out here killing these discords, you were doing the networking thing like I've never seen anybody do. Like I even said to you, I was like, how the fuck are you doing this, dude? Like I was like, I don't have enough time to do this. Like I got the same thing going on as you. I got 3 kids, a wife and everything going on. So it was to see it happen, it was kind of like a relief off my shoulders at that too, because I was like I said, we're pretty tight, and I was just I know it was something that you were meant to do, and something that you were going to achieve some way somehow, even with all the stuff you had going on. To see it happen, it was just an amazing feat for me. Mm.
Yeah, we definitely we've been on a journey together, and yeah, it's kind of that I guess to an extent it might have been a motivating factor for you, seeing somebody who's been there with you through it all. I hope it still brings you motivation to try and strive to achieve that goal. You know what I mean?
Oh, I mean that's the goal. I mean that's the goal. Been the goal for me. It's taken me a little bit of time, but I have like I said, like it is with you. You had to find your little niche in there, and you got to find where you fit. The show has been pretty good to me. It's just finding what else to do with the show to get the show more content rolling, um, and getting that niche to actually take off fully. And I mean, it's not easy. Like Madden hasn't been easy. Madden, I mean, I put a lot into Madden this year, and it was pretty good. But it's also we have a lot of a lot of new Madden people coming into the community. A lot of new what do you want to call them, groups coming into the community that they work with each other. So it kind of makes it hard for the person that's kind of floating. You know what I mean? Like I'm not really involved with the groups, so kind of float by myself. So it makes it a little bit tough because these guys just they just keep passing inside their groups. They're passing viewers, and I mean it's the way to do it. Honestly, is get your group built and pass your viewers around like that, and it just builds a hell of a community for them. Um, but we're gonna go full tilt, Madden 21 content on YouTube, content on Instagram, content going through Twitter. We have it all planned out. We have it all set and lined up. So hopefully it'll grab. Like I told you, I'm gonna try to dabble in to RP because I watch it so much. Like I might not talk a lot, but I watch so much of it between you, Jimmy, like you and Jimmy together are two of my favorite hits to watch because you two together are just like it's like how do I want to? It's like toast and cheese sandwich. It's just meant to go together. Like you guys just vibe off each other so well, and when you guys take off with the dialogue and everything. It's just like you guys, like it's just, I see the fun that all you guys have, especially when it gets really going. Like you get within the Chain Gang and get going with those guys, T Mac, you guys all get rolling at the same time, and it's just when you all get together, it's just like nonstop fun.
Yeah, and I think you did tap into it though. You know, you go through Twitch for a certain period of time, and you kind of. I said I didn't have time to reflect on how fortunate you are, but like the reality of it is, you know, a lot of people are out there for a long have been out there for a long time, streaming to smaller numbers, not really knowing what's going wrong, how to change. What can we do to change? How can we get where we need to go? Those questions never stop, by the way. Those questions never stop just because you become a partner or you've got X amount of viewers or X amount of subs. That I've always said this, but it might seem to an affiliate streamer versus trials and tribulations versus a doctor disrespects trials and tribulations. You might think, well, this guy's making millions, he still goes through all these emotions though, you know what I mean? Financially, fine, he's making money, but you still put these personal stresses on yourself, regardless of what stage of the journey you're on. And ultimately, it takes a combination of things. Being good at what you do, your game or your category, being one of the elite is going to help you. Being lucky, um, and taking opportunities, and also getting help. That's the one you touched on, and you need that. You need help from your peers. You need a sense of community to an extent. You need people who are going to help you out. You know what I mean? Like I've personally, since I've been on the RP community, NoPixel's great in that the bigger streamers do really look out for some of the smaller streamers, and you become more tight knit with the community. And that inevitably is going to help you with exposure. Ultimately, it's going to be up to you how you sell yourself, what you can offer, but you'll get opportunities. For me personally, like NoPixel's been fantastic. You mentioned Changang, CG have been incredible for me. Lord Kevin in particular, he's given me 6 or 7 hosts. Like I've had 13,000 for a second or two. I've had 13,000 people watching my stream due to a Kevin host, which is just stupid for me. Still mind blowing. But I wouldn't be here if I wasn't in that community, and that's the reality. That's my lucky part of my journey, I guess. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you need that. You need support.
Yeah, I mean that's one thing I've really realized about that community. Those guys, they're not afraid to go if you're actually putting the work in. They see you actually doing things the right way. They have no problem rating those guys and trying to bring them up. Um, you said 13,000. I couldn't. The biggest I've ever had was 3,500, and I mean, I know what that felt like. So I could only imagine when having 13,000 eyes on you trying to role play and keep your mind going on what you're doing. It's kind of tongue tie you a little bit while you're trying to figure out what to do.
Yeah, it's crazy. It was crazy. It really was crazy.
I mean, and then when you got like, so I mean, who do you say is probably your tightest friend in that community now? Like with, like I think
Jimmy,
it's Jimmy.
yeah, Jimmy. Would Jimmy be the person I probably talk to most? And we just have that in character. Uh, we just had that in character connection that we kind of. It's funny because you look at. I'm just going to mention CG because you mentioned them,
Yeah.
and they're obviously probably people watching NoPixel or GTA RP probably know them because they're the biggest group on the server in the game. But they're a classic example of guys who've grown together. You know what I mean? They've been in the server for a long time. That's what I talk to about. Tight knit groups that trust each other. They get on OOC. In character, they obviously have grown together. Out of character, they've grown together. There's trust there, and that's a very solid core group of people who will always trust each other because they've always all been through everything together. They've got each other's backs. They're just good friends. A lot of people miss that. I suppose it's similar with me and Jimmy. We both started. We both started pretty much into No Pixel with nothing. You know, Jimmy straight away streamed. I had maybe 2,000 followers when I went to No Pixel. No, I had a great time. I had a great time in the Star Wars Battlefront community, but ultimately, I don't think I have maybe one or two viewers from those days still. But ultimately, I think you know, when you grow together, there's a bond there that kind of connects you, and I think we have that. To be honest, I think there's an element of like, you know, we've gone through everything together. We're kind of on the same level. We trust each other, and that's huge. You know what I mean?
Yeah, something about the Jimmies, I guess. He likes his Jimmies. But yeah, I mean, so I mean, going into yeah, something popped open. I got it. Um,
Porn, nice, nice,
nah,
Jimmy, nice dude,
it was a
nice bud,
tab popped
nice
open.
bud.
Nah, no porn
It
for
was
later.
either porn or
It was
hair
actually no,
hair
he had
growth.
it. He had it 100%. It was League of Legends. I was watching somebody play it. I have it on and I didn't realize the tab was open.
Are you unhappy with your peen size? Take these pills. And
But
it's, you
no,
know, the great thing about pop-up ads is they really target the niche audience. You know what I mean? The
right.
people who really need the products. You know what I mean?
So now with I remember I think it was I can't remember what stream it was, but I remember the first time you got to like actually like really interact with like Chang and all of them. I was like right there and then I knew I was like he made it. I was like I said it the first time you interacted with them. I was like he made it. Like he's I know who they were and I'm not even in that community. You know what I mean? So like that's how big they really are, guys. Like if you guys don't know, I know most of you guys are from the sports community with me, but that group that he's talking about is huge and great. I mean, the guy that does Chang, that guy is hilarious. Like, I don't know exactly who he is, but it's funny. And with Jimmy, is Jimmy really like I've heard Jimmy's Canadian. Is Jimmy really Canadian?
Jimmy is white Canadian, but he's grown up with the Jamaican community, so he's had a lot of that influence on his life. You know, so he's a white Canadian, but he's very much, you know,
That's mind
Jamaican
blowing.
Canadian as well. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That is mind blowing. It's mind blowing what he can what that guy can do. Like if you guys ever get the it's Jimmy Tulip, I think is his whole name. I don't want to mess it up. But if you guys ever get to watch him and Bosch interact, you would have no clue that he's a Canadian. Like, you would think he's a legit Jamaican guy. Like that's how good the guy is. And he doesn't use a voice changer. But I'm like I get blown away. Like when I heard that, I was like, no way, this is bullshit. So I had to ask you when you got on here about that. Like I thought it was complete bullshit that he was a Canadian, a white Canadian.
No, no. Look, there's a lot of talent. Like one thing, you know, there's a lot of talented actors. Like this, you even get actors who are on there. You know, Carl from The Walking Dead, Chandler Riggs has been on the server for a long time. You get people who come onto the server, but there's a lot of talented voice actors and you know, ad lib actors. You know, people off the cuff who are very smart, very witty. You know,
Hmm.
it's essentially online acting. You know what I mean? It's essentially online acting with action. That's pretty much what I would summarize it as, GTA RP.
So, in your journey now, what's the next step for you?
Um, the meta has kind of shifted now at this stage. You know, I've been so long in the game. We've got a pretty amazing established community. You just got to keep pushing. You know, you got to keep building. For me, like I said, everybody's goals and aspirations, everybody's motivating factors are different. For me personally, you know, I'm an older dude. I'm 36. I've been in the game for a couple of years. And even though I look at being older as an advantage because we have all our life experience, it's also in the back of your mind is that ticking clock. How long is my, you know, my shelf life? When's my best before date? When do I expire? You know what I mean?
Hmm.
When am I too old as a streamer? So you never know what's going to happen tomorrow in the streaming industry. You know, even month by month. You know, I'm sure streamers will tell you, particularly it's interesting once you start when you start off as a streamer, the big thing is your follower count, And as you push more and you become a little bit bigger and more successful, you start looking, the sub count becomes a little bit more the number that you pay attention to.
Mhm.
And that can change rapidly from one month to the next, as you know. I suppose consistency and stability are the two big ones for me. Obviously, I've got a missus and a kid, and that's ultimately always at the back of my mind. You know, I am ultimately, as much as I enjoy this for myself, the goal has always been to try and this is me being honest, the goal has always to try and be successful to a point where there's stability and security for my family, you know. um and obviously I'm not 20 living in my mom's basement with, you know, no bills to come in, and, you know, I can stream 20 hours a day if I need to. I don't have that option. So I guess, yeah, just consistency and growth, like with everything, you know.
And I mean, I think you hit on it too, and I think it comes to a lot of us. Like, I think the older group. I mean, you're starting to see a lot more older people actually on here. I know people that are 53 years old streaming now, and I don't know if that helps us because it gives us a little bit more room, might give us a little bit more shelf life.
Shots 10K, shots 10K. I'm on. It's GTA RP joke. Sorry.
No, so when and how you hit on it, you hit a very good spot with how your things shift, how everything shifts from like you go chasing following numbers, and then now it's shifting to the sub numbers and making sure you're hitting a certain amount. That way you can take care of bills and business that you need to take care of. I felt that myself because I still remember it to this day. I was popping off over Madden, and I had it was just followers after followers, and you were like, you're like a follower. I forget how exactly you said it. I think you're like your follower whore or something like that. And and then it was like I got to a certain spot. I kind of shifted myself. I think we grew. Me and you kind of grew up the same kind of way. Like as we made our shift to do our thing, we really dug into like, hey, we got to get to a certain number with this so we can take care of our family. And that is me. That's how I always like. I have a weekly sub goal. I try to hit every week because I know if I hit it, I'm good. If I go over it, it's even better. So like that's one thing I try to gauge. I gauge it every week that way because this is my job. You know what I mean? This is your job. This isn't just we're getting on here and having fun with our friends and whatnot. It shifts. Like as much as we say, "Oh, you just have fun," that has to go out the door sometimes because you have to put a focus into what you're doing. If you sit here and just I'm just doing it. It's just for fun. I'm not worried about it. Then you're not gonna get where you want to go. I mean, we both were in that same ballpark before, and like you said, you have a missus and a kid to take care of. I got three kids and a missus and a house now, so that is that is so much truth in it when you say it shifts because that's like I don't work like I don't even look at my follower count no more. And besides yours, I don't even look at it because you're freaking 20K ahead of me now.
And that's the thing though, and that's the thing you realize, like, it doesn't really matter, you know what I mean? Certainly follower count, follower count's so irrelevant. There's people in no pixel with give you an idea. There's people in no pixel at the moment with, you know, a third of my follower count, but, you know, 3 times the subs at the moment. You know, it really doesn't matter as long as I suppose the main focus point is always got to be your community and you know,
Mhm.
being consistent, being the best, kind of offering the best you can to your community, be it through your availability, be it through what you give them. That's why I like, personally, the state of my stream at the moment. I've got a green screen coming back in. I turned off my cam because I wasn't happy with the quality of my cam when it was on at the moment with my setup currently. So this is actually the first time my cam's been on in about a month and a half. But you always, if you want to grow and keep growing, you've always got to be pushing the boundaries of your own stream. You know, your limitations. Don't settle. And honestly, one thing I will say about RP, it's been amazing in one regard, in that I've found my niche and I've got a lot of support and I've found an amazing community and my own community has grown because of it. But at the same time, if you actually went back, you know this, Jimmy, because you know me from the word go. But if you actually look at, I would honestly argue that RP has actually stagnated my creativity. I've got comfortable in what I'm doing. I'm just RPing, and I don't have a cam. I'm not saying I've got lazy, but if you look at the work I was doing on production, what I was coming up with, my little alerts, my little sketches, my change of scenes, my characters, my cosplay, like my creativity has massively been restricted, I've found, and I'm only starting to realize that again. I kind of honestly feel, as much as this is myself in the RP world, what I had before I RP'd was myself more. You know what I mean? That
Yeah.
extrovert, that kind of fucking craziness, the characters just having fun. And in a sense, it's actually probably a product of, if the famous saying, if ignorance is bliss, tis folly to be wise. That was me in my searching in my innocent days of Twitch, my naive days of not really knowing the big bad world, and I was just so like a child. I was innocent, and all my ideas and theories are I just did them. And now I'm a little bit more cautious. I'm in the RP world. I'm growing. I'm comfortable, I guess, is the word, to an extent, creatively. And I think personally, I need to start, tapping back into that creative juice and maybe doing a little bit more again. So that's kind of what I'm working on, to be honest, longer term. But that's there you go. That's where I'm at.
I would love to see Bryson come back on camera. I think honestly it would probably add a different element to RPing. I don't think there's. I mean, I think there's a handful of guys that actually dress up when they RP. I mean, I think it's just another avenue. It'd be a huge avenue, I think, because I mean, you have some great characters. I mean, if you could dress up as Anto, could you imagine dressing up as him, like getting your like a little bald head guy dressing up as him and actually being on camera like that, dude? People would fucking go crazy.
Yeah, it's. I actually started. That's how I started on GTOP. You remember? I actually started. I was cosplaying as Bryson. I used to like dress up as him and talk as him. It's a lot of work, is the only thing. Um, it's a lot of work, but it's fun. That's ultimately what I've tried to always be about, just being fun. That's ultimately me in a nutshell. I don't take myself too seriously. I can have a serious chat about things. I can be quite, my head is screwed onto my shoulders, but to a lot of people, you'd never think that because the way I go on. I'm a big kid at heart, and I just like to have fun. That's ultimately where I live.
So how has it been as of lately? I see you trying to bring some other characters in. Are any of those going to be a mainstream character?
You got to test the water, man. I mean, first of all, from a creative standpoint, you play the same character for 10 months, and it stagnates a bit, and it gets a little bit stale creatively. So I think you got to keep pushing characters and making new characters and testing yourself. But it's trial and error. Ultimately, there's that self-sacrifice as well. Like we discussed, you can do what makes you happy, or then it comes down to the business side of things, and you do what's more logical for yourself growing. You know what I mean, going forward. And it's a kind of combination of that. A character who I'll enjoy most characters I play, but ultimately, what will keep a character's shelf life, for me at the moment, is how well they're received by the community. If the community like them and there's positive feedback, that'll encourage me to play more of that character.
Now, do you have any characters and like that you're really liking besides Anto? Is there another guy that kind of stands
That
out for you?
that I'm having a lot of fun with this new. I don't know if you've seen him. I played him for the last 2 days.
Is
I've
it the
made
fat
a.
guy?
It's the Zimbabwean, yeah, investigative journalist.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm having fun with him, but he's a salt mine, man. He challenges people in RP, and he gets people triggered so quickly. I've been experiencing this, the last 2 days. Anybody who watches RP, I've been like shot at for no reason. I've been assassinated. I've been stabbed. The police have fucking completely noped me in RP. Like it's pretty funny. I didn't realize there was that much salt. I didn't realize one character could create so much salt, but there's a lot of sodium chloride floating around.
So I mean, so does do they like him or do they wish he was out of here?
Oh man, he just triggers people, man. He challenges people. You know, he's a snitch. He's a snitch in a world where like
You can't
snitches get
snitch.
stitches. Snitches get stitches. So like everybody just wants to fuck. No one knows. Like I said, he's a test of people's RP. How do you deal with a snitch? Do you just stab him straight away? We're just not really constructive for RP, or do you actually try and create something? And so far, I've pretty much got a 90%. Nope, I'm gonna kill you. Reaction to him,
So apparently
which
he enjoys dying.
well, it's frustrating, but I'm anticipating having a lot of time dead with this character, or getting tried to be dead.
Now, if it continues that way, do you stay with him or are you gonna end up making somebody else?
Oh man, if that's look honestly, ultimately, if there's content around him, if it's enjoyable, I mean, yeah, fuck it. I mean, I'm not about to stop playing somebody because somebody else is challenging in RP and can't actually add RP to a situation without just killing me. Yeah, if I'm having fun with him, I'll keep playing him. And I anticipate there could be a lot of like controversial situations around him.
Oh
But the
boy.
thing is, I'm confident enough within myself and within the community now where I can play this character,
Yeah.
Where I mightn't have been here like 9 months ago, I wouldn't have the confidence to play him. Now I don't really care. Now I'll play him.
Now, has anybody have you seen anybody pick up on this? Have like they picked up on it? That's you. Like, have they really got
Oh
into it?
yeah, people. Yeah, well, like,
I mean, you are Irish, so
well,
it kind of it makes
I,
it hard.
I, I, I'm not exactly a gifted voice actor, so I get a lot of I get a lot of like one voice Andes in other people's chats, keck W's and stuff. People laughing, people pretty much pick up on it's you straight away. Certainly people that you RP with a lot will know it's you, but yeah, it's fun. So I'm having a little bit of fun with it, a bit of change of pace. So we'll see where he goes.
So are you gonna bring back any of the old characters? Is that something that might happen?
Yeah, I mean, Dirk and Bryson are always going to be close to my heart, I just don't know where Bryson fits in at the moment. That's the problem. Um,
I think Dirk
but
could
yeah,
take off.
maybe I just had a, yeah, I kind of like I started off with Bryson.
Mhm.
I started off with an American Texas war vet character, and then I realized where the niche was as an Irish character. So, wherever makes sense, I'll do, I guess.
So what I'm gonna do is because I know you got a stream yet tonight, so I'm gonna open up the chat. If they got if anybody has any questions for Bosch, now's the time to ask him, and he'll give you the best answer he can give you. So, got any questions? Leave them in the chat, and we'll get them read out and get his answer.
Here we go, the moment of truth.
The moment of truth. It usually takes a minute for some of these guys to type some
Yeah, and if anybody's honestly asking for any kind of questions regarding growth or anything like that, just ask me. I'm a
Yeah,
pretty open, transparent, honest person. So
who is Bosch? Bosch is one of my great friends on the platform. We've been around each other for a while, like on 3 years or something like that. Um, he is now an RP GTA streamer. Here's Spastas here. So they want to know SARS or Spasta? Who's your favorite?
these guys, I don't pick favorites, guys. That's why there's no VIPs. Just ban Spastic. Can you ban Sam from the stream for 48 hours, please? Thanks, man.
And that's the cool thing too. It's like I know these guys. Like I'm a mod in your channel, and you're a mod on my channel, and I know these guys. So it's kind of funny, like getting to see these guys come over here because they're busy in your channel. Your channel's rocking right now, so they get busy over there. But it's nice to be able to like they come in and you get the. It's kind of like a whole big catch up thing.
Yeah, it's like a community outside a community. an extension of your community is our community, you know.
Yeah.
And I think that's the best thing about Twitch, and that's what everybody wants. You know, they want to be part of something. They want to be part of a community. You know, some place to feel like they belong, and that's ultimately what everyone on Twitch, the viewers, are about. You know.
I said, do you feel you connect with a character that is more like you than one that is more made up?
Here's the thing, right? Regardless of what anyone tells you in RP, there's always large parts of that person in that character. Um, while it's always RP and you're always acting, um, one of the big things for me, and it still is ongoing, is making in character decisions based on my character versus me OOC. Like Anto's like the character I mainly play, for instance, is a Dublin scumbag. You know, he's a thug, he's a punk, but like sometimes I struggle making those decisions that a Dublin scumbag slash punk would make because my personality outside of my character is kind of restricting me, you know what I mean? So RP is very much a learning thing, but I would say most of every character you watch from anybody in RP, there's an element of them in them, I would say.
Don't lie, you're a Dublin scumbag.
That's the first time I've been told a scumbag in my whole. Well, it's not actually. I lie.
But no, so do you with Anto? Is it like do you try to find a character that is opposite of what you really are in life? Is that what you try? Like, I mean, you're not a scumbag. You're not an asshole. You're not an asshole to most of us.
Honestly,
To most of us,
hon-
I don't know how you are, but I mean,
honestly, man, if I played a nice guy from Ireland, I don't know if he'd be as. First of all, I don't know. Honestly, it would be further away from me in a sense that like Anto's like a cheeky chappy, and like I've always been that kind of guy anyway. I've always been like have a laugh with the boys, you know, and push boundaries a little bit and stuff. Like that is me in real life a little bit as well. But I just don't know. Being too vanilla and playing a nice guy has never really appealed to me. I've never really thought about it. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like I said, I just, my natural inclination has been to be a Dublin scumbag. You know, there's a little bit of fantasy in there. You know what I mean? What could have been? You know, could have been pushing coke on the streets of Dublin. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I mean, he's definitely in a good spot because I've never came across that side. I mean, he's just straightforward person, gives you how it is, and either you love it or you hate it.
Yeah, I'm still working on the character. I'm still developing him. Like I said, I think.
I mean, he's definitely caught on though. Anto is definitely the guy. Like I was
Look, I
actually
mean,
impressed how quick he caught on.
honestly, and I've said this before, certainly in the RP world, if you can have a niche, an accent, a saying, if you can be different in how you even talk, like you mentioned, you were talking about Jimmy earlier on, you're talking about Mr. Chang. They're two people who spring to mind. They're very unique and distinctive accents in the server. But I was only playing with a guy called Spaceboy earlier on. He's also a great guy. Go check him out. Great RPer, superb dude. And he was just saying to me that he says, "What's the story?" to everybody. You know what I mean? And that's because Anto says it. You know. And if you can create something like that that sticks with people, like a lot of people, the first thing they see Anto in City, it's like, "What's the story?" Do you know what I mean? Because that's an
Yeah,
Anto thing. If you can have that unique thing, it will help you anyway. It won't make you stand out, but it will help you. Like Jimmy Tulip has Bombaclad, you know, Wagwan, you know, they're two sayings that he has pretty much coined in the server. So having that, I didn't have that uniqueness with Bryson. I
yeah.
didn't have that separation. But that's where Anto's been different because I'm the only Irish guy in there. You know what I mean?
Okay, as they said, what was your first RP? Pen and paper or LARPing?
The moon is high. I would have loved to fucking LARP. I'm not gonna lie. Like I was like one of those undercover closet nerds. Like I was a sporty kid, so I guess I probably would have been termed as a jock. Well, I was termed as a jock when I was growing up. But I was always kind of like, watching Magic the Gathering, seeing the boys playing some Magic the Gathering out of the corner of my eye, going, Jesus, he's got to cast that Frostbolt. What is he doing? You, you can't cast
Undercover
Blizzard against a
nerd.
fire demon. Yeah, exactly.
Bro,
I was always that
I
dude.
was so lost. Like my cousin and one of my good friends, the family man that uh, they're into it. And we were all having a conversation and they got into it with that shit. I'm just like, they started talking. I'm just like, meow. I'm out. I have no clue what you're talking about. I'm not even gonna try to even understand it.
Yeah, you see, I've always been that like, I've always been that branch or that connector. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
I can kind of, I've always got on with the jocks, I guess, if you kind of talk high school talk here. But I've also, been able to meet the like lesser athletically gifted individuals on their level as well. I've always had an interest in like fantasy and sci-fi and things. It's just things that have always interested me.
Yeah, I mean, I'm like completely different. Like, I'm not, I can't stand sci-fi stuff. Like, I hate it. I hate sci-fi anything. Like, I don't know why. I just think it's like, I'm like, man, this shit is never gonna happen. And watch one day it'll happen. But I think it's one of those things. Like, I'm never gonna see something like this happen. It's not real to me, so I don't know. I stay away from it.
Yeah, I mean, everybody's different. You know what I mean? You're a product of your environment and where you grow up as well. And, everybody has different interests and that's okay. I've always been into that kind of stuff. Like I said, on a lower key, I've never had the time when I was younger growing up. I had other things going on that I had my focus. But yeah, I mean, who knows if I ultimately, personally, if I hadn't been like, as good a sport as I was, would I have probably gone down more that route? Who knows, probably.
So now, like, if you have, if you do have that opportunity, I mean, if say you could go and do what you want to do, variety wise, what would you be
You like
doing?
that sound, did you? I'm trying to be politically correct here. It's 2020, mate. What would I do variety wise?
Like
I
if
don't
you
know,
had the
man.
choice to do something else right now without it
He-
hurting you,
like here's the thing. I'm not a huge, again, tapping into what we just talked about. I'm not a huge first person shooter guy. Although I enjoy them, I find them very monotonous and limiting. You know what I mean? I like story based games. I mean, I like RPGs. I'm a huge WoW guy. I'm a huge WoW nerd. I played WoW from vanilla for like 7 years, 6 years. And I love that shit. I loved WoW. I could have literally played WoW all day, every day, and been happy as a pig in shit, man. I was so happy. I was so happy playing WoW, like just being immersed in the world. And in a sense, RP is like, WoW, in it to an extent, but WoW is more of a fantasy RP base. I just love that shit. I mean, honestly, if I could go back to WoW vanilla days and make, be comfortable. Here's the thing with me as well. With my ambitions, I don't need to be a summit or a ninja or a shroud. I'm just happy to be comfortable. You know what I mean? I just want
yeah.
to be able to be consistently comfortable. That's all I ever want. Be happy and consistently comfortable, and like have a community that's based on the right things. I don't ever want to be like, you know, I see some communities and it's just very plastic, I guess. I want to have that sense of warmth. I want people to be able to come in and like, oh, it's Bosh, let's hang out. Oh, there's the boy, there's Ultima, there's fucking Sam, there's Spasta. What's going on, boys? Chat to each other. Having that having that place for people is very important to me as well. And it was a big reason why I sort of started streaming. I wanted to have a place for people that they could just come in and chill and be themselves and escape all their bullshit, that they have going on IRL. But
Yeah.
I guess if I could make a comfortable living, I would be playing WoW. I'd say still favorite game of all time, hands down.
Fuck that ultimate douchebag. So they want to know, do you walk noobs into GTA 5 RP?
Well, I suppose I'm still kind of a noob, but yeah, I'll try and help people out if I can. Now, ultimately, there's only so much time you have in a day and stuff. You're not going to be just walking around helping people, and you get into kind of certain routines and cliques and people that you RP with a lot, and that takes up some of your time. But yeah, absolutely, I do, and I would, and I can, and I do. New people, meeting a new RPer with a fresh take is always amazing. The problem is sometimes it takes a little bit of searching to find somebody who's got that little spark, who's got something different, who's, RP's give and take. There's RP givers, there's RP takers, and there's people who do both. There's a lot of RP takers out there at the moment, and finding those RP givers is a pretty great thing. And when I say that, if people don't understand what I mean people dangle carrots with RP and other people run with it. An RP giver will give that carrot to somebody, give an opportunity to create an RP scenario, and it's up to the other person to give back. An RP taker is somebody who gets a carrot and just takes it for themselves and doesn't progress the RP in order to be progressive for just their character. Just selfish RP. So yeah, man. I mean, RP's about helping each other out. It's about finding new people and helping new people. Absolutely.
And to answer your question, Sam, we do have a Madden franchise. We do run that. We have one running right now, but with the content and Madden being where it's at right now, it's a little rough because when you cut a game 2 months before a new one comes out, kind of hurts it unless you're one of the big guys like Bosh says, like you're one of the elite guys, or you're in one of those cliques that help each other. So for me, it sucks. So that's why I branched out and started doing different things. That's where I have to. You know what I mean? I got to come up with content. I got to be able to figure out something besides Madden because Madden's a sports game. It dies when seasons switch. So you got to be able to switch into different stuff. There's actually a lot of different stuff. I think one of the biggest 2K, like 2K basketball, they have one of the best setups I think on that whole thing. They got the park, they got my player, they got um they have like an ultimate team thing. Like there's so much inside that game. Like they do it right, especially for their esports. Like their esports, the NBA is involved with it. They all have their own personal team. Each team in the NBA has its own personal esports team. So I think that's kind of a cool thing. They actually get drafted. Like the great players get drafted to those teams. Um, MLB's all right. I mean, I think I lost my niche with MLB this year. Like I bought the game, didn't even play it, but maybe 4 hours. But I mean, going it with all that happening, they had let's see, they had that go on. So now they're really just pushing 21. So now it's just wait until my birthday when Madden 21 releases on EA Access, and then we get back into that. But until then, it's gonna probably be a mixture of uh playing Breakpoint. We've been playing that and been pretty having pretty good success with that game. Because it's actually starting to trend up. I was just actually looking at stats at the game because I don't want to waste my time if it's trending down kind of deal. RP is because I feel as I could step into that and have some fun with it. Like I think I could really have some fun with it. Um, Plus, it's not going anywhere. It's not like a sports game that dies out. Has Bosch played ever played any sports games? Yeah, what was the one he used to play? He talked about it all the time. What was the rugby game you used to play all the time? The video game.
If I had a game to play for my life, it would be General Rugby. I was probably back in the day when I was like, this is when I was 12 to 18. Honestly, I would honestly categorize as myself as elite. It's the only game I've ever been elite at. I was pretty damn good at Channel Rugby. I put a lot of time into that. And I was just very good. But yeah, I mean, I'm a huge sports guy. I'm a huge Minnesota Vikings fan. I haven't really played as much Madden, but I'm a huge football fan. Would I play Madden? Yeah, I love Madden. I just don't really have that much time. Outside of streaming, I don't really play that many games anymore. I just don't have the time to do it with the family as well. So when I'm not streaming, I'm rarely playing anything. But sports games are amazing. I grew up playing NHL Face Off. Like I said, huge. I used to get Maddens. I don't get them anymore. FIFA. I'm a huge soccer fan as well. I used to fuck with the ISS series. Um, so yeah, I mean, I play whatever. I play whatever. I'd even play baseball games. Like I said, I'm a sports fan in general. So if you're a sports fan, I think you'll play the game. You know.
I think it also, like, as you said, you hit kind of on this earlier, is guys our age. Like, I'll be 36 next month. So, like, guys our age, especially with kids and a wife and just things in that nature, they take up a lot of time. And I think a lot of people miss that. They don't grasp it because they're used to the younger generation on here that just go and go and go and go. And we are more balanced around what we have to do. um I'm the same as you. When I stream is when I play. I don't really play outside of that because we got the gym going on now, trying
We
to
got
get in shape.
commitments.
Yeah, I mean, there's the gym going on. You got to figure out time with the misses. You got to figure out time with the kids, and, like, especially with everything going on with this pandemic, it's been just crazy, crazy. You got kids at home having to be taught at home while the missus is working from home. So it's eventful right now. But our school is actually sending our kids back to school, so I'm looking forward to that.
My kid has been back in school for a month, which has been a saving grace. Ireland has been pretty proactive on the whole lockdown stance. I
Mhm.
mean, if you look at our numbers and things, we've managed to maintain and control the spread of the virus pretty well, which has been great.
That's Americans. We're selfish and greedy in that aspect. You know what I mean? People just they don't. A lot of people just don't care about what's going on, or they think it's
Uh,
a joke. And
there's there's a lot of misinformation from the top though as well. Let's be honest.
oh
It
yeah, it
hasn't
definitely is.
exactly been managed at the top level the most efficiently. There's been a lot of contrasting things on what to do. You see, that's the thing with a smaller country. There's a lot more clarity, I find. And I'm not going to go into a political debate about what's going on, but yeah, I think clarity has been huge in Ireland. The people at the top, the powers that be, the decision makers, have gone with the best advised advice by the experts, and it's paid dividends for the country, I guess.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, there's a lot of countries that have got past it and back to their normal ways. But I think we're gonna give this one a. If anybody has any more questions, get them in now. If not, we're gonna let Bosch get to his stuff. He has to get going on his streams. I don't want to hold him up on that because he's got to go make you guys happy. Anymore.
Okay, Jimmy. Looks like
Yeah, and you're good.
the people have spoken. Again, thanks again for the time for your time, man.
Nah,
Did you play RP in any other game at the moment or in the past? I played WoW. No, I wasn't RPing as such. You're playing an avatar, a character. I wasn't RPing. I've never RP'd before though. This is the first time I've only been RPing for a year and I'd never RP'd before. It's always something I'd naturally probably been inclined to do, but I never have. I've just never done it. But yeah.
and guys, I do appreciate you guys coming over from Bosch's community and showing support to this, because this is something that I've talked to Bosch about a long time ago and just never got it put together. Um, so I appreciate the support to help it grow and take off. Um, Next Monday will be the next show, and that will be um, Knock Chevy. He is a Madden guy, so he will be on Monday night at 7 p.m. Um, Also, August 22nd, guys. This goes to the Bosch's community and everybody, because I know you guys are big into this stuff too. August 22nd, we are doing a charity stream, a 24-hour charity stream for the AFSP and what they are. They are a suicide prevention organization. They are a nonprofit organization. They go to extreme limits of helping with suicide prevention. They get into schools, like elementary schools, middle schools, high schools. They put big events out where they do 24-hour walks for all night. It is a great cause. We've been lucky. My sponsor, my very first sponsor I've had, Manscaped, they've actually put a big package together, like a $200 package that will be given away. There will be giveaways throughout different milestones. Like if we hit $100, there'll be giveaway 500,000, 1,500, 2,000 is the goal. We will also have we also have an awesome woman from my community that is going to match every donation. Whatever we raise, she's going to match at 100%. 22nd, August 22nd, day after my birthday. We have a whole bunch of streamers. Usually Bosch is involved, but I know he is tight with time, so I didn't cross that line with him because I know how his schedule is. He's more than welcome to join in if you can.
Yeah, we'll discuss it definitely.
But right now we have a bunch of streamers. There's a bunch of us, as we always have. We have a bunch of people that get in this. We weren't able to give everybody shirts this year. There's going to be 10 of us that have a blue shirt on. Um, we have all that. Like we have it's like there's so much going towards it this year, and we actually have a person from New York, which is their biggest chapter that they have. So I'm pretty honored this year. We have her coming on the stream. So to have somebody from that stature, and plus she's also been in talks with Twitch's charity person, the one that do the charity. So we may actually end up on the front page of Twitch with it, which will be huge because we all know what happens when you get their front page, get crazy views, and it's probably gonna be crazy amount of donations coming in if we end up there. So that's the hope that we hit there. Um and we can help out and raise some money for suicide prevention. Like I said, she's gonna drop a ton of information, so make sure you guys are here. I'll have a definite time on that. Still working that out with her because that's how it works. She's busy, I'm busy, but I would love to see you guys tune in for that. And Bosh, again, man, can't thank you enough. And congratulations on partner and the crazy amount of success that has been going on for you of recent. Glad it's happening, man.
Yeah, man. And just a quick one, guys. For anybody watching from my community who isn't familiar with Jimmy, I know you don't like to go on about things too much, but just a quick background about Jimmy. This is a guy who's been in the game a little bit longer than me. He's got a family. He's been hit by, obstacle after obstacle. He got diagnosed. He's currently got a benign brain tumor. He's had various health issues, sleep apnea, his hearing in his ear, just a lot of stresses that he doesn't complain about, doesn't go on about. He just faces his challenges. I mean, I feel very fortunate, to be friends with Jimmy. Somebody who's so resilient, somebody who keeps going and keeps giving is the big one. So I'd encourage anybody in here to support Jimmy where you can, pop in when you can. He's one of the most pure people you'll find on Twitch. A great friend and just a great person. So privilege to be on the show, man. Keep at it, dude. I mean, I wish I could say, it's going to happen tomorrow. And I know you just got to keep in the game, man. You got to keep putting your hand up, giving yourself fighting chances, and keep throwing those punches.
Yeah.
As well. I know you're going to do, man.
Hey, I mean, you already know. I've applied 6 times, been denied 6 times, and still haven't stopped. So we'll get there. We'll get there when it's meant to be. Hopefully, when it's meant to be, we won't have no more worries. We won't have to worry about nothing, and then just enjoy making content. But like I said, I appreciate you coming on, and this is definitely a fun catch up because we don't get to do this very often anymore. And guys, like I said again, appreciate all you guys from his community coming over. A lot of you are guys I know from being around Spas to Sam. Weapons new to me, but Appreciate you guys coming in. We're gonna give it a cut right there. And like I said, guys, next Monday, 7 p.m. Eastern time, we'll be back. Peace.